For almost 2 centuries, PERRIER JOUET's expertise has made its champagnes the quintessence of elegance and perfection. Crafted with all the creative skill of an artist, PERRIER JOUET champagne is the fruit of a labour of passion and talent. Underlying it is the land, an exceptional house domain of 65 hectares to be tended daily all year round. At harvest time, the grapes must reveal their full potential. In September, close on 250 grape pickers are busy at work in the house vineyards. In the Grand Cru parcels of Cramont and Avise, they handpick the white Chardonnay grapes, which are taken swiftly to be pressed. The grapes are pressed in the heart of the vineyard itself, in company-built wine presses, each cru and grape variety being crushed separately to retain their individual characteristics. The first pressing by the traditional wooden cooker presses yields a must that is refined, subtle and complex, with good aging potential. The must from the second pressing is simpler, more rounded and faster maturing. Once pressing is complete, vinification begins. The must is transported to Épernay and made into wine through the action of yeast, which changes the sugar content into alcohol. The first alcoholic fermentation is carried out in stainless steel temperature-controlled vats, neutral containers which bring no other aromas into play. The PERRIER JOUET oenologists use small vats primarily, working on the wines individually to keep the character of each terroir intact in true haute couture fashion. A second, malolactic fermentation, always carried out at PERRIER JOUET, though not compulsory by regulation, brings added smoothness and roundness to the wines. Afterwards, once it's been clarified and stabilized, the result is called still wine, as it has yet to acquire its sparkle. It is with these wines that Hervé Deschamps, only the 7th PERRIER JOUET cellar master in almost 2 centuries, begins to construct his blend. Maintaining the consistency of the Chardonnay-based PERRIER JOUET house style is crucial at this stage of the champagne making process. Each wine is tasted, evaluated and selected to achieve a blend of diverse aromatic notes. This requires exceptional talent, knowledge of the vine, an ability to memorize the nose and taste of many different samples, and an inherent creativity.
Au niveau de l'assemblage, ce n'est pas une technique, c'est un savoir-faire et c'est surtout de l'émotion, de la sensibilité, et ensuite on va travailler avec le savoir-faire. C'est déguster tous les vins clairs de l'année au moins 2 fois, avoir une physionomie complète de mon potentiel, et ensuite imaginer. Alors imaginer, c'est un petit peu comme un artiste, faire des esquisses, mais derrière je vais mettre dans ce projet d'assemblage toutes mes sensations, et là, je vais être guidé inconsciemment par toutes les dégustations que j'ai faites auparavant et sur ce style de PERRIER JOUET qui est maintenant partie intégrante de moi-même.
Using as his base the elegance of the Chardonnay, blended with the Pinot Noir's finesse and delicacy, Hervé Deschamps rounds off the whole by adding the fruit and body of the Pinot Meunier. His quest for perfection finds expression in an original approach to blending. Like an artist who spurns preliminary sketches before working on the blank canvas, Hervé Deschamps forgoes trial blends, trusting instead in a single creative burst to produce his masterpiece. He works on each cru separately, and it's at this stage that he decides whether or not it is a vintage year. In champagne, only exceptional years merit the label of a vintage. After the blending comes the bottling. Sugar and yeast are added to trigger the sparkle through a final fermentation in bottle. The bottles then take their place in the PERRIER JOUET cellars, where silence and serenity reign. There they will remain, non-vintage champagnes for 2.5 years, vintages in the Belle Époque range for a minimum of 5, comfortably beyond the legal minimum. Only the riddling, still carried out manually for certain bottles, disturbs the sleep of this champagne in the making. The riddling process gradually directs the dead yeast cells towards the neck of the bottle to be ejected subsequently during disgorging. Then a little liqueur is added during the dosaging process to round off the wine and replace some of the sugar lost during the final fermentation. Corking is the last stage prior to shipping. Timeless traditional expertise, such is the signature of PERRIER JOUET.